Good day, guys. This is Dan, and welcome to another episode of Cryptolite. Today, we'll be doing a review on Chainlink, a coin that was very popular towards the end of 2017. For those who entered the crypto space only this year, you may not be familiar with it, but it definitely is a game-changing project worth knowing about. So hang out with us for the next few minutes, and we'll try and give you the best, clearest, and most concise review of Chainlink. The company behind Chainlink is called Smart Contracts. For this reason, when you open their website, you will see the name Smart Contracts, not Chainlink. Now, the Chainlink project is a very technical project and can be quite difficult to understand for a lay person. So to help you understand it simply, I'm going to start off with a Cryptolite analogy. Now, imagine for a moment that I am the owner of a French accounting firm. In fact, my accounting firm is the best accounting firm in the world. You, my friend, are an Indian restaurant owner in India. You are a very successful restaurant owner and you own a chain of restaurants. But your accounts are still done in black and white on paper and you have trouble keeping up to date with your accounts. Now, you've read about my awesome accounting firm on the internet and all the benefits that we can help you with. You would like to use our service, but here is the catch. We are in different countries, we speak different languages, and I have no means of understanding your account paperwork which is written in Indian language, and you have no means of accessing my accounting software or reading my reports that are written in French. So even though you are aware of my great services, you are unable to use it. The only way for you to use my services is to uproot yourself from India, to move all your restaurants to France, change your entire business system to suit mine, and learn how to speak my language, French. That's insane. You would laugh if I asked you to do that, because why would you take the risk of uprooting an entire business system that is profitable for you just to use my service? But do you know, that is how it is with smart contracts and circular companies these days. Smart contracts have many advantages like being decentralized and secure, having automatic execution with no errors, trustworthy, permanently recorded transactions on the blockchain, less manpower requirement, etc. Circular companies are attracted to these benefits, but the truth is very few smart contracts can be implemented into a circular company model because they are an entirely different system. This is a major bottleneck for mass adoption of blockchain projects, and not many people know or people understand that actually very few smart contracts are being able to be implemented into the real world. Let's give you an example. If a company like Uber, this is purely hypothetical, okay? If a company like Uber wanted to employ smart contracts to enable automatic execution of payment once the food is delivered, smart contracts would struggle in two ways. Firstly, smart contracts cannot receive data because it is a different programming language. So the smart contract cannot receive the GPS data that the food delivery has been delivered. So if it can't receive that data, it cannot process the job. Also, because it cannot feed back directly into the payment system, because the payment system again is a different system that uses non-blockchain language, again, the smart contract simply cannot do its job. And this is why circular companies have difficulty using smart contracts. The only way it seems for them to use smart contract is to start their own blockchain system and change their entire company infrastructure to be built on a blockchain project. In other words, their company has to become a blockchain project to benefit from blockchain decentralization and smart contracts. But how many people would be willing to take that risk? But now, imagine this, right? Imagine if I had a middleman that can play the role of translator, data collector, processor, executor, etc. Basically everything I need to make it easy for the circular company to use smart contracts without needing to actually become a blockchain project. So all the advantages of blockchain given to them without needing to disrupt their existing structure. That is game changing. And that middleman, my friend, is called Chainlink. The power of Chainlink as a blockchain project is that it allows the blockchain to go to companies rather than asking companies to come to the blockchain. Chainlink boasts of being able to link three systems with smart contracts. The first is APIs. APIs are like the features of an app. So, for example, if I have a pizza delivery app, The menu is an API. The GPS feature is an API. So these are all different APIs. And Chainlink makes it possible for smart contracts to communicate with APIs. Secondly, it makes it possible for smart contracts to be used in payments, which is obviously needed for almost every transaction. And lastly, it can also connect across blockchains. Smart contracts by default cannot communicate across blockchains because each blockchain platform uses a different programming language and have different consensus algorithm. So projects like Icon are really hot because they enable cross communication across blockchains, and so does Chainlink. Now, this middleman role has a generic name and is called an oracle. So you might find that there are other oracle projects besides Chainlinks out there that try to be that bridge between smart contracts and users. But what makes Chainlink special from other oracle projects are the following key features. The first is that it is very secure. Chainlink is a smart contract, or a smart contract in general is the pinnacle of security because a smart contract is untamperable and executed without human facilitation or error. Now, there is no point as a middleman to facilitate the interaction only to compromise security. And I know this sounds pretty obvious but in the Oracle industry, in the business of trying to be that Oracle, that middleman, oftentimes security is compromised because it is very hard to maintain the high standards of security that a smart contract offers. Now, Chainlink does manage to maintain that high level of security by being a decentralized oracle. You see, there are centralized oracles which have a centralized processor doing the work, but all the information then go through one single point of processing, and that makes it easy to be hacked or tampered with. Chainlink is a decentralized network, and so the work is done by nodes, by like a typical blockchain project. The oracle on Chainlink allows the users to choose which nodes they want and how many nodes they want for the level of security that they need. In return, the people who do the node work, they will do the node work of collecting the data and processing the data before returning it to the blockchain and get paid in link tokens for that work. The second advantage of Chainlink is what is known as source distribution. So now imagine if the contract request was to collect stock market data and to execute a sell order at a certain price. Chainlink would have the advantage in terms of offering to collect the data from multiple sources to increase accuracy. So if I have chosen to have 5 oracles working on my project, rather than all the 5 oracles getting the same data from the same source, they will each get data from a different source, so 5 different sources. All the different data are processed independently by different oracles, and then finally they are aggregated back onto one big data on the blockchain and recorded on the blockchain. The third advantage that Chainlink has is that it's an open source project. When companies come to the middleman, they don't want to build their own middleware, they just want to sell their resources. So Chainlink is open source and allows external developers to contribute to their smart contracts. This is a very smart feature because it means less work for the team, more choices for the users, and independent developers get a chance to get involved and make some money. You see, developers who are familiar with APIs in general, for example, the GPS feature, they can make a smart contract for it and sell it for link tokens. They don't need to have invented the idea of GPS or a new API. They simply need to be able to make a smart contract on the Chainlink for an existing API. So it's much easier to do and a huge potential for developers to make or programmers to make a lot of money here. On the other side, if you wanted to use those smart contracts that they made, you can buy it for link tokens. So there's a lot of sources for token use on this platform, and those smart contracts can be reused again and again as needed. What is worth pointing out here that some people may not be aware of is that in the smart contract world, it's very common to use another person's smart contract. It's not like plagiarism and frowned upon. It's actually a very common thing that happens in the smart contract world because it's a good way to monetize work as well as it saves a lot of time and resources. So this is a good way for developers to monetize their work and also for Chainlink to build up a library of smart contracts over time so that the work that is done on their platform will be a high quality work. The last key feature of Chainlink is in its application of trusted hardwares. Now, if we set up a middleman, we can use a software or a hardware. If I use a software, it probably will be a language that can be understood by other software. So it's like a written contract with all the details being handed over for the middleman to read. But if I use a trusted hardware, I can do fancy things like put up an encrypted node, which the hardware understands, but not the node operator with the software. And so no software can breach that without permission. And so the node operator then does not know what they are operating. They cannot tamper with the process. So it's very secure. So for example, if I was doing a payment, the node processor will be able to process the transaction and the amount in the transaction, but be completely oblivious to the account details. Now, they have factored in accountability here, and the user who was using this contract can still check the process at any time, because at any point in time, they can pull out the encrypted transaction record on the blockchain and decrypt it with the private key that only they have. So the process is still very transparent to those who are invested in it. The last thing that probably worth mentioning is that they use off-chain computation, which makes the whole project scalable. We've covered this concept of off-chain computation repeatedly in other videos. So just briefly, for those who are new to our channel, think of it as a blockchain, as on the blockchain. Okay, the blockchain is a very, very busy road with a lot of traffic, and movement is going very slow. Going off-chain basically means going off to the side road and overtaking the traffic and re-merging back upstream, having saved a lot of time. Okay, so this feature of off-chain computation makes Chainlinks very scalable, and scalability is one of the biggest issues that all blockchain projects face. So if you're interested, you can go through their white paper for more technical details, and the white paper is a very, very technical white paper, which laymen might not be able to understand. So this version is my simple presentation, and hopefully it can help you to understand what Chainlink is all about as a project. As a side pitch, this is another reason why, if you are able to, it's not a bad idea to join every coin review that we do, even if you're not interested in investing in that particular coin, because in the coin reviews, we try to explain to you technical details of various projects in a simple way. And over time, if you follow us, you will hopefully develop your own understanding of how blockchain projects work. And this will really help you when you try to read a white paper or understand the tech behind a coin or a project by yourself. Our goal on this channel isn't to tell you which coins are good to buy and to get you excited with hype. Our goal is to help you to understand each project in detail without the hype, so that you can make an educated decision for yourself if the project is good or not. As always, we never recommend you to use us as your only source of information, but we certainly do try to be a good source of information for you. Now let's look at their team, and I'm actually going to start with the advisors and partners first, and I'll look at the team after that, and I'll explain to you why later. Their advisors are very impressive. You have Ari Jules, who is a professor of computing science at Cornell Tech and the co-director of IC3. You have Andrew Miller, who is a well-known leader in decentralized consensus research. You have Evan Chang, who is one of the creators of LLVM, which is a technology used on every Apple device, as well as much of Google, Nvidia, and Intel. He's also currently the director of engineering at Facebook, and the list of advisors goes on. So it's a very, very impressive list of advisors with many heavyweights on it. Their partners are listed on their website under the heading of users and industry recognition. This doesn't include all their partners. There is a mention of more partners in a Reddit post. And that Reddit post is also fairly old, back in December. But to my knowledge, I don't think they've added many more partners since then. The biggest partner on their list is Swift, who's working with them to develop the Swift Smart Oracle. So everyone knows Swift. They are a massive payment governance institution. The other partners that are found on their Reddit, it includes Town Crier, who is a patent pending system developed by a team from the Cornell's IC3. Zeppelin, which is a big project with over 1.5 billion worth of digital assets. Okay, other projects that are currently considering to use them include Request Network, Seek, Origami Network, and Open Money. And they also got recognition from Gartner for being chosen as the 2017 Blockchain Applications Cool Vendor, as well as described by the World Economic Forum as the shift in action for smart contracts. This is their roadmap. It's not on their website, probably for good reason, because it's super pathetic. It's on a social media post by one of their team members, summarizing the goals from their white paper. They literally just put page 13, page 19, page 14 of the white paper. There are no dates attached, and the community has no idea what to look forward to. I don't consider this a roadmap because there are no dates attached. And this post was back in December, And their community has since been asking for a roadmap, but none has been given. I think this is quite poor form, to be honest, and certainly for a project that is worth over $150 million, it's not unreasonable to expect a roadmap. This is the first project in the top 100 coins that I've come across without a roadmap. Some people have posted on YouTube that they think this project is a scam, etc., because they don't update people enough. And this was lack of roadmap was one of the reasons why they said that. Look, I disagree. No, I don't think that they are a scam. I might be wrong, but I certainly don't think they are a scam. But I certainly think that they can improve certain aspects of the project. Okay, now we come back to the team, and the reason I've left this as the last part of the review before price prediction is because this is probably the one thing that I'm most concerned about. On the website, this is their team, two people, Sergey Nazarov and Steve Ellis. I think on their Reddit, they have listed that they are at least three more people. There's two community managers and one technical community manager on board as well. Now, the CEO, Sergey Nazarov, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Okay, this guy is the guy who's the anchor man. He's carrying the whole project. This guy is, in my opinion, he's a genius, right? His tech knowledge and understanding is second to none. You know, he's done several talks which have been posted on YouTube, and they're really, really good talks that I thoroughly enjoy. And this guy knows his stuff. And when you hear him talk about the tech and the reason of the vision of the company, why they're trying to do what they want to do, it makes you want to follow him and Chainlink. And because of their technical excellence, okay, I think that the tech of this team is almost flawless. I can't find any fault in their tech. In fact, I think tech-wise, they may be one of the best projects in the crypto space. Now, tech is the core of a blockchain project, but it is not everything, right? Their team, in my opinion, is too small. They don't have a marketing team. They need a website team. They need someone to help them to do a roadmap and lots of other stuff. These guys are really, really great in the tech stuff, and they should keep being great in the tech stuff, but they need help to get the other aspects running because they're so focused on the tech that they're neglecting many other aspects of running a blockchain project, including updating your community, having a roadmap, simple things like that. You see, Chainlink as a project, they have the first movers advantage in terms of Oracle projects on the blockchain. And even now, they probably have the best tech when it comes to Oracle projects, but they haven't capitalized on it as much as they should. And they haven't made as much partnerships as you would have expected them to in the last 6 months. Their marketing and partnership format, in my impression, and I might be wrong, but it seems to be much, much slower than the average top 1,000 coins out there. Half a year ago, they were the novel idea in this space, and they had a lot of hype going on, and they had partnerships with Swift and other partnerships announced around a very close period of time. Okay, but since then there have been other projects coming into the space. You know, one of those upcoming ones is Sophia TX, which we mentioned in our post top 5 small altcoins for 2018. Now, Sophia TX is also an Oracle project, probably a lot smaller in scope. But Sophia has a great team. They have a very busy roadmap, a lot of new partnerships. I think they just announced another partnership today, and they're gaining a lot of momentum as a whole. I think in terms of Oracle projects out there, Sophia TX probably has the most momentum at the moment. And that's just one of several upcoming Oracle projects. Now, it's not that Chainlink isn't progressing. They are releasing new information, new updates, new tech progresses like the recent Goldlander node, etc. But it's simply not enough to build momentum and gain attention in this very busy crypto space at the moment. You know, I see like a 400-meter race where Chainlink is one of the fittest runners with the most potential. Chainlink has the 50-meter head start and should, by all accounts, win the race. But because they are not running, they are just walking ahead. The others who have started later are running full steam ahead, and they are catching up very, very quickly. So now I know that there will be Sergio fans out there who will be upset, and they believe he is Superman and he can do everything. And I don't mean any disrespect. In fact, I think very, very highly of him. I think he is a genius, and I really like listening to him and learning from him. But I think that at the moment, everything of the Chainlink projects revolves around him. And just imagine for a minute, okay? What if something bad happened to him tomorrow? What if he was taken out of action for a period of time? The whole Chainlink project would collapse. And as an investor, that's worrying. This is a great project, but it needs to be bigger than one man or even a 5-man team. They need a proper team to support them. They had a lot of momentum 6 months ago, and I think that they definitely can get the momentum back again if they try. And this is a project that deep inside I want them to succeed because I think they deserve to succeed. We're going to end by taking a quick look at the price. Chainlink is currently sitting at 43 cents and their peak in January was at $1.40. A lot of their price in the short term is really going to be driven by the market more than their actual project, and the 13% drop today was because of Google announcing that they're going to stop cryptocurrency ads from June onwards. We're going to cover more of this news in tomorrow's episode of Crypto News Update. But almost every coin in the market is down 5 to 20% today, so that 13% drop is really nothing to do with them, it's just the market. If you look at their graph, they've been so fluctuant and volatile over the last few weeks to months that it's really hard to predict where they're going to be in the future. What we can probably say though is that the 40 to 50 cents mark seems to be a very strong line of resistance for them, but the 65 to 70 cents mark up here seems to be a very high line of upper resistance for them. So if they want to have a bull run, they're going to have to cross 65 cents at some point. One thing worth looking out for with this coin, and it's kind of related to what we mentioned, is to look at their ranking on the market. They are currently number 74 on the market, and it's be worth seeing their rank in the next month or two to see where they are sitting before deciding if they've picked up enough momentum to invest into them. Okay, it's also worth looking at other upcoming Oracle projects like Sophia TX, Oracle Chain, even Hyperledger, which is kind of related to Oracle projects, to kind of not to directly compare them with Chainlink, but to get a comparison of how the rest of the industry in this area is doing. I don't feel that there is a great rush to buy into this coin right now, given the state of the market and no big news being expected in the near future that I'm aware of. So I think that we got time to just monitor them to see whether or not they pick up momentum before jumping in. In the long term, I'm sure that the price of Link will rise, and investors now might say, I'm sure the price will rise and it's going to give me a good return. Almost all crypto projects in the top 100 are going to rise in the long term and give you a return. The question you need to ask yourself is, are there similar projects out there at the moment that will give me a bigger profit in the same time frame? Look, personally, I won't be taking a position in this coin right now until they pick up momentum, meaning more partnerships, clearer roadmap, and just more interest in them in general. But it is a project whose tech I do believe in, and if they ever pick up momentum, it would be a coin that I would consider adding to my portfolio. I'm not a professional financial trader, and this is not financial advice of any means. It is just me sharing with you my personal opinion, and I'm only human, so I can make mistakes. So please don't blame me too hard if you don't like what I say. Again, in closing, I do like Chainlink as a project, and I sincerely hope they make it big. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you like this video, please give us a like and a subscribe. Tell us what you think of Chainlink in the comments below as well. We love to take this discussion out of this video because we know that we are not always right, and we are very open to learning from you guys as well. Let us know if there's a coin or a topic that you want us to post, and if we can, we will definitely do it. At the moment, we've got a bit of a backlog, about 2 weeks worth of requested posts to do. So I'm trying my best to go through them, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get some help from a friend who is honestly more awesome than me. So something for you guys to look forward to. But until then, thank you so much for your patience. Tomorrow is Crypto News Updates, and there has been some big news to update you guys about. So please make sure you tune in for that. Have an awesome day wherever you are, and catch you later.